Many people think that the best way to escape war is to dwell upon its horrors and to imprint them vividly upon the minds of the younger generation. They flaunt
KNR, Khaotic News Radio.
Good evening, everyone out there in internet land. This is Otaku-Mario coming back after his long hiatus. I heard you all missed me, and I'm flattered. Now, tonight's topic is... well, that was a little weird. Okay. Alright, let's see what's going on here.
Well, it's big and terrible. More frightening than I ever thought possible.
Nothing can save the city now. I'm saying a prayer, George. A prayer for the whole world.
This can't be good. Well, the show must go on, as they say. Aw, hell. Well, folks, looks like today's topic is about the one and only...
Run! It's Godzilla!
Well, a little late for that, buddy. Now, let's be honest here. I don't think there's anyone alive who doesn't know about the mean green Godzilla. The origins of Godzilla go all the way back to the 1950s. That's right, the Big G is over 50 years old and still a cultural icon all over the world. But back to the 50s, 1954 to be specific. That's when the reign of the King of the Monsters officially began. Godzilla was a horrifying prehistoric beast, given new powers by atomic radiation, thick scales, and impervious to any man-made weapon. Atomic fire breath that can melt steel and turn entire cities into smoldering ashes, eerily reflecting the events of World War II and the bombings of Hiroshima and Nagasaki. In many ways, Godzilla taught everyone the horror of nuclear war, the devastation, the destruction, and the feeling of being absolutely powerless to do anything to stop what is happening. Godzilla became not only a horror, but a teacher, a lesson, something that must be remembered. In his next few movies, Godzilla remained a horrible, devastating force. But then, something happened. An event that rocked the entire world and shaped history forever. October 4th, 1957, the Soviet Union launched Sputnik and began the space race. Suddenly, nuclear weapons were only part of the concern. Now there was an orbiting satellite, and who knew what horrible weapons could be unleashed from that? And while eyes were cast towards the heaven, many people looked beyond that, into the stars, into the great unknown. And if we could put something into space, maybe there was someone else who could as well. And suddenly, the space age began. People all over the world greedily snapped up newspapers, comic books, went to the theater just to get any kind of news about the great beyond. And people filled that darkness with fears they never knew they had. Fears of alien marauders coming to take their planet. And monsters. Terrifying monsters, not bound by the laws of terrestrial evolution. Monsters like the golden three-headed dragon, known as King Ghidorah. Suddenly, Earth's greatest fear became its best and only chance to defeat this new, terrifying menace. Time and time again, alien invaders would come to our little planet, seeking our resources, enslaving our people, and generally ruining things for everybody. But time and again, the Big G was there to turn them back with extreme awesome. So, now Godzilla was more of a hero, a folk icon, and kids everywhere loved him. No matter what the problem was, Godzilla would be there. He'd save us all. So, naturally, to capitalize on this newfound fame, Toho made Godzilla more child-friendly. They redesigned the suit, making it far more child-friendly. And in 1967, they even gave Godzilla a son named Minilla. Because Minilla hatched from an egg, there has been some controversy regarding Godzilla's actual gender. The Toho Company has come out time and again and said that Godzilla is a male, which is reflected in Godzilla's parenting style, oftentimes seeming mean and cruel or Minnow, but always protecting them against any evil monsters, and even teaching them how to use fire breath. This loving, gentle giant was not the terrifying, destructive force he once was. But make no mistake about it, he was still king of the monsters, continuing his reign until the mid-70s, adding 4 more monsters to his roster. In 1971, the disgusting smog monster Dora. In 1972, the extraterrestrial space chicken Geiger. In 1973, the giant beetle Megalon, a monster from deep within the Earth's core. In 1974, his most iconic rival, the unstoppable mechanical menace known as Mechagodzilla. This mammoth mechanical menace was designed for one purpose: conquering Earth and destroying its mightiest hero. But, as we all know, no machine is a match for an organic, thinking mind, especially when it's the mind of a monster. After a tough battle, Godzilla managed to overcome this monster with the help of a new ally, King Caesar. Well, at least the first time. In 1975, Mechagodzilla returned for the Terror of Mechagodzilla. When Terror of Mechagodzilla was released in Japan, it was considered to be one of the darkest films in the entire series. Scenes of excessive violence, beatings, strangulations, shootings, even a suicide. These all had to be removed if they hoped to get a G rating for American distribution. But even with the low rating, Terror of Mechagodzilla had the smallest box office returns in the series' history. This was not because of the bad film writing, far from it. In the 1970s, a severe gas crisis caused a lot of people to tighten their wallets and their budgets. So, going to movies was simply not a priority. And with a lack of funds, Toho was forced to put the big G on ice. So for 10 years, Godzilla lay at the bottom of the ocean, waiting for his chance to return. And return he did. The Heisei series of Godzilla films began anew, and the first order of business was to return the big G to his monstrous roots. But all of that is gonna have to wait for another time. I'm looking at my watch here, kiddies, and I'm going on way too long. So, until next time, this is Otaku-Mario saying,
Run! It's Godzilla!
you know, every time I try, I get interrupted. One of these days, I'm gonna come up with something, and no one's gonna hear it.
In other news, upcoming conventions.
Thank you for watching. Goodbye and have a very chaotic day all.